Hi, I'm Catherine Sturrock and I'm going to show you how to make a sweet pea today using FMM cutters and very few tools actually to create a beautiful flower. Now we're starting with the light and bright air dry clay. Now this will come as a white clay and you can easily colour it using an intense pigment ink of gel food colouring. So I've just put a couple of little drops into the clay, mixed it together to create this lovely peach colour. Now what I'm going to use is a piece of florist wire. And I've just twisted the end so I've got a little loop on the end there. You could put a little hook in if you've got a slightly thicker wire as well. Now I'm going to use a little bit of glue just to dip the wire in, but first of all I'm going to take a small amount of the clay, just sort of a large pea-sized piece, roll it into a ball like that, and then I'm just going to use a fingertip to roll more into a teardrop shape. This is going to be the centre to our flower. A little bit of glue onto the end of the wire, and then I'm just going to push that inside clay. Now what I'm going to do now is just pinch around the bottom just to make sure that it's secure to the clay. And then we're going to form what looks like a Cornish pasty. I'm going to use finger and thumb just to pinch along one edge. So we've now got a thicker edge, and then from the front we've got the thinner edge where it's been pinched. Pop that clay to one side. Now what you can do using the ball tool, the large end of the ball tool, you can thin that a little bit further just by rolling along the edge of the clay and creating a frilly edge, making it really frill out. That's the starting point to our sweet pea. Now what I'm going to do now is take a little bit more of the clay and mix with some white, so I'm making a lighter shade. So I'll take some of the clay, mix it together. It just adds a little bit more interest having the variation of colour. Now you can use an acrylic rolling pin, but because this is quite a small flower, I'm just going to use the tool, the ball tool, as a rolling pin. Don't worry if it picks up a little bit of an imprint from the centre of the pin, that will disappear. So I'm just rolling out. It wants to be quite thin, only about 1 millimetre in thickness. Now the sweet pea cutters, you get two within the one set. One slightly larger than the other, and we're going to go for the smaller one. That's the starting point. All I'm going to do is just cut out one piece, just using the cutter, peel away the excess clay and remove the excess bit just in the centre there. Now I'm going to pick this up and pop it onto my forming mat. This is just a foam forming mat. Using the same tool, the large ball tool, I'm now going to shape around the edge. Now where we've got the three little bumps, that is going to be the bottom of the petal. So what I'm going to do is take the ball tool and roll it over the edge of the clay, concentrating on the very edge. So what I'm doing there is thinning it out. There we are, forming the frill. I'm going to work all the way around, doing the same thing on the other side. And now we're ready to place that onto our centrepiece. So picking up the stem that you've made earlier, where the centre little bump is, that's going to be the very centre of the flower. So we're just going to place the two bits together and slightly fold those around. Not squashing it flat, you want to make sure you can still see that frilly edge. I'm pinching the clay around the wire at the bottom. So that is now stage 2 of our sweet pea. Stage 3, I'm going to take the remainder of that colour and a little bit more white, so I'm lightening it down again, a lighter shade of the peach colour. Of course you can choose any colour that you want. Once again I'm going to use the ball tool as a rolling pin and just roll out onto the glass mat, about the same thickness, about 1 millimetre in thickness. And then I'm going to cut a piece with the second cutter. Again, remove the excess clay, wrap that up so it's not drying out. You can reuse that for another flower. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to frill the edge of this piece as well. The three little bumps are the bottom of the petal again. So using the large ball tool, I'm just putting a little bit of pressure as I go onto the outside of the petal there, giving us that lovely frilled edge. If you want to frill it a little bit more, you can go over it again and really open out the petal piece. And then we pick up our 2 layers of petals there, and then we're going to do exactly the same as we did before. We're going to place that into the centre and then just fold around at the bottom, pinching around the wire. And that forms your sweet pea flower. Now you can add a little bit more detail if you like by using a chalk or petal dust. Even though this is clay, you can still use a petal dust and maybe just dust a little bit of chalk into the centre to add some more colour. So I'm just going with a pink in the centre there, and that will really bring the detail out. And it looks very, very realistic. Making a few of these and putting them together in a bunch, and maybe some buds and leaves as well, will give you a really nice floral display.